Oh, there's Gibson Park right over there on the left.
Yeah, this seems like as good a spot as any to park the car.
All right, Jeff, I see a baseball field, a couple tennis courts over there.
Right.
But what are we looking for?
Ray, we're looking for buried pirate treasure here in the Point of Pines section of Revere, Massachusetts.
I always love a good treasure hunt.
Yeah.
I'll grab some shovels.
Whoa, not so fast, Ray. I mean, this treasure's said to be guarded by the angry ghost of a pirate and his demon horse. Hello, I'm Jeff Belanger.
And I'm Ray Auger, and welcome to episode 110 of the New England Legends podcast. If you give us about 10 minutes, we'll give you something strange to talk about today. Thanks for joining us on our mission to chronicle every legend in New England, 1 week and one story at a time.
And we couldn't do it without the help of our Patreon patrons.
That's right.
Who are sponsoring this week's episode. If you go to patreon.com/New England Legends, for as little as just $3 per month, you'll get early access to new episodes plus bonus episodes that no one else gets to hear. These are the folks that help us with our hosting costs, production, marketing, and so much more. We thank all of you.
Do you really need that second cup of coffee, right? Put that aside.
Once a month.
For us.
That's it.
We also love when you legendary listeners get in touch with us through social media, our legend line, and when you email us through our website, which is ournewenglandlegends.com.
And that's exactly what Brendan O'Brien did recently.
Hey, Brendan.
He works for the Revere Society for Cultural and Historical Preservation and stumbled across a document in his museum describing this pretty obscure legend. And we couldn't help ourselves. We just had to dive right in.
Buried pirate treasure and ghostly horsemen are kind of our thing.
That's so true. And we were able to uncover more of the story in the 1880 book, Lynn, or Jewels of the Third Plantation by James Robinson Newhall. Combine that book with the tip from Brendan O'Brien, and that's why we're here in the Point of Pines section of Revere today.
I'm ready to fly my Jolly Roger, Jeff.
All right.
So let's head back to the 1690s and see what we can find.
The year is 1697. It's a time after the King Philip's War and the King William's War, where native people, now much fewer in numbers than they were a century ago, don't trust their European neighbors. But there's still a few living among the colonists who are now just taking over the landscape.
Hey, Jeff, I see the Anchor Tavern across the street.
Yeah.
And it's open.
All right.
Let's head inside, grab a beer.
Well, cheers, Ray.
Cheers. This is the kind of place where you overhear stories.
What kind of stories?
Well, all kinds of stories. Some local gossip,
Sure.
but also tales of buried treasure.
Ooh.
I overheard those guys at the table over there say something about pirate treasure at the Point of Pines.
Oh, Ray, look who just walked in. I think that's the guy we're here to find.
All right, who's that?
That's David Kunkshamooshaw. He's the grandson of Winnipesaukee, a great Native American sachem. And though a lot of these locals find Kunkshamooshaw to be abrasive and kind of rude, there's also some respect there because many think he's kind of a wizard.
Well, it also looks like David Kunkshamooshaw has also noticed that group of would-be treasure hunters in the corner. Kunkshamooshaw nods at the men, and they soon agree to set out with their shovels and lanterns. We should follow them.
Yeah, okay. Well, it feels like a good, crisp night for a treasure hunt, but let's not follow too closely, Ray. I mean, these guys are likely to think we're after the loot.
I see David Kunkshamooshaw is using a forked witch hazel stick as a divining rod to try and find the treasure.
Ooh, look, I think he's found something. Right over there. Okay, now he's drawing a circle on the ground around all the men, and he's muttering something, but I can't make out the words. It must be another language.
Stay inside the circle at all times. It will protect you, and no matter what, you mustn't utter a sound. This treasure is guarded by a vengeful and evil spirit.
And with that, the men dig in silence.
Pretty soon, their shovels hit a flat stone. As soon as the shovel strikes the stone, a strange gust of wind comes out of nowhere. But David Kunkshamooshaw silently motions for the men to keep digging.
It looks like they've mostly uncovered a flat slab of rock that could be covering something below. One of the men is forcing a long rod under the stone as a kind of lever. Oh, look, the stone's starting to lift.
A mighty gust of wind just knocked all of them to the ground. I see David is the first to rise. Again, he silently motions for the men to keep working. They look nervous.
Man, I'm nervous. I feel like we're too close. Okay, it looks like they've almost got that flat stone lifted up. Wait, what's that?
I hear a horse. It sounds like he's right there at the edge of the circle, but I can't see anything.
I don't see it either.
David is grabbing each man in the digging party and holding his finger to his lips. His eyes send a message. He's practically begging them not to make a sound.
So the men collect themselves and they get back to lifting that heavy rock slab. I can see they have it standing on its end now. One of the men is getting low to the ground with a lantern. There's some kind of metal trunk in the ground. That must be the treasure chest.
This gust of wind is the worst yet. It's like a mini tornado. The men are flung to the dirt by the force of the wind. Everyone is petrified. Still, David is holding his finger to his lips. He's desperate to keep them silent.
Oh man, look over there. I can see the horse and rider now. The horse is huge and black. Its eyes are glowing red. It's moving toward the men in the circle. And the rider, he's hideous. He's got this long, stringy black hair falling all around his wretched face. He's smiling a toothless smile.
But look at that. The horse and rider can't get inside the circle.
You're right.
They're stuck right at the edge.
So the wind has calmed down now, but the men in the circle are frozen in fear. The demon horse and rider can't get inside, and it's sending the rider into a rage.
The horse just reared up, and now even David Kunkshamooshaw looks frightened. It looks like the rider is furious. Listen.
By my blood, what do ye here? Ye are well set to work, filching my gold hard-earned upon the sea by dagger and by fire. But the devil would yet save his own, I wot. Aroint ye, or bear a pirate's malediction.
This is more than David can take. He gasps in fear. And with that, the spell is broken. The horse's hooves land inside the circle, and the men are running in all directions for their lives. The stone slab just fell back over on the chest below.
I think we should get out of here.
I agree, let's go.
And that brings us back to today.
Man, after that frightening encounter, word of the angry spirit got around. David Kunkshamooshaw refused to ever locate the treasure again for fear of facing that demon rider, and with no one to divine the exact spot of the treasure, the story just faded into memory and then into legend.
Today, there's a yacht club out here.
Mm-hmm.
The sports fields where we parked our car,
Right,
and
right.
hundreds of houses in neat rows. If that treasure is still buried out here somewhere, it could literally be in any one of these backyards, and the homeowners would never even know.
So this story first makes it into print in 1880, but it never becomes one of New England's best-known legends.
The notes that Brendan O'Brien sent us directly quotes some of the text from Newhall's book, so we're assuming that's the source. Then this legend kind of floats around in obscurity.
It makes me wonder if exploring the story here today will kind of raise its profile to the point where some of these neighborhood kids around the Point of Pines section of Revere will take some shovels to their own backyard and maybe stir up something sinister.
Well, if they do find the treasure, I hope they can keep their mouths shut.
What's a pirate's favorite letter?
Well, I'm going to guess it's R.
You'd think that, but his first love will always be the sea.
Okay.
Sorry.
If you kids do find that buried treasure, do us a favor and at least become one of our Patreon patrons. You'll be rich by then. I think you can afford it.
Yeah.
It's kind of the least you can do for us.
Good point. And we love it when you legendary people reach out to us. You can call or text us anytime on our legend line at 617-444-9683, which is just what Matt did from Country Code 49?
Country Code 49. Well, if my Googling is correct, that's Germany, Jeff.
Yeah, so Matt texted us on the legend line and wrote, "My family and I are stationed in Germany, where I work as a flight nurse in the Air Force. I'm from the West Coast originally, but my family and I have decided to settle in New England when I retire in a couple of years. I stumbled across this podcast while researching New England. My whole family loves this, especially the kids. Thank you for giving us a taste of home. Keep it up."
Matt, thank you for the kind words and for your service.
Yeah, right on.
You keep us safe, and we'll keep telling you new stories each week. So when you and your family arrive back in New England, you'll practically be experts on our legends and lore.
Would like to thank John Wilbur, and would also like to thank Jim Harold from the Paranormal Podcast for lending their voice acting talents this week. And of course, our theme music is by John Judd.
Until next time, remember, the bizarre is closer than you think.